Hello! It's gonna be kind of nice to do another one of these sit down videos with you guys. I actually enjoy these. Vlogging is fun, but you know what? Every once in a while, it's nice to just sit down and just chat with you guys. Today, I wanted to talk all about taking breaks. I've already done a video on recovery, and recovery is different than taking breaks. And I feel like this is an important topic for runners because when we think about taking a break in the middle of training, it can be a scary thing, especially when our races are getting close. So I wanted to talk about that. I wanted to share part of what made me want to talk about this, my own personal story. I wanted you to know that I'm not a doctor or a healthcare provider. So, if you're having pain that concerns you, go talk to your doctor. In my last video, I ran 10 miles. I came home from after that run, and even though I did my cool downs and I did my stretches and things like that, my legs got pretty stiff afterwards. It seemed like if I sat down more than 10 minutes and then I tried to get back up to go do something, it was really hard. My legs would start hurting. But then once I walked for a little bit, got up, got whatever I needed to get, did some moving around, things like that, my legs would settle down. They'd be a lot easier. But then if I sat down again, it would repeat itself. And next time I got up, it was stiff. I wasn't too worried about that. I've experienced that before in some of my long runs. Also, I knew I was going to have a recovery day the next day anyways, so I wasn't too worried about it. Then I woke up Sunday morning. It wasn't until I got out of bed and I put weight down on my left foot, which is actually my good foot because it was my right foot that I fractured. But I stepped down on my left foot and I had really sharp pain in the heel of my foot. That was concerning. You have to check your levels of pain. From 1 to 10, it was probably an 8. However, once I put on my Birkenstocks and I was walking around doing some other stuff, the pain pretty much subsided, and it would only hurt every once in a while. But then I was noticing that come Monday morning, it repeated the same process. I got up and then there was sharp pain in my heel. When I was trying to compensate for that pain, I moved my foot and then I started feeling pain along the outside side of my foot, which was exactly the same area that I had pain when I fractured my right foot. Only this time it was in my left foot. What I have decided to do is just rest. I mean, the first thing I wanted to do was just go out and test it, right? Like on Monday, I was supposed to run 4 miles. I decided to not. But there was this huge part of me that's like, I've got a half marathon race coming up in next month. I was like, I can't be affording to take breaks. I need to be running, right? Like that was what was in my head. No, I can't stop. I can't take breaks. I have to be running. I have to be following my training plan to the T. I can't be missing run days. This is not acceptable. I feel like a lot of us get into that mindset, that exact mindset. I was training for a half marathon, but I didn't actually have a race yet in April of 2025, because this was back in 2024. I wanted to do a marathon race. I felt that at the time, if I skimped out on any of my training, I wasn't going to be ready. So even though I was feeling some things in my foot, I was like, no, I need to run. I need to do this. There was a part of me, because you'll hear a lot of runners on YouTube, a lot of professional runners that say things like, like they'll have these Q&As and someone will ask them, how do you take your breaks and things like that. A lot of them, I could quote so many of them that go, you know what, honestly, if I woke up and decided to not run because I was in pain, I would never run. And they make it sound like pain is such a natural thing when it comes to running. And so you have to watch that, because some people, they hear that and they get out there and they start running and they go, oh, I'm feeling pain. No. Pain's normal. They talk about pain caves, just fight through it. And I feel like that's kind of what I did. I was like, you know what? I'm just being a baby. Experiencing pain while running is normal. And to some extent it is, I agree, but I don't think they talk about the different types of pain. If your foot is hurting so bad that you can't put any of your weight on it, you shouldn't be running. That is something that I had to learn the hard way after I fractured my foot. I had to deal with that. But since that's happened, here I am experiencing some heel pain. I'm going, no, this is not good. I know I have a half marathon in a couple weeks, but if I don't take care of my foot now, there's no way I'm running that half marathon. I need to be taking care of it, not making it worse. I planned it all out well. Some of it, honestly, I will admit, has to do with some timing. It just so happens that after my 10-mile run, I am now on a taper week. I don't feel so bad about taking some days off. I do want to get a couple runs in this week, but I'm going to wait until towards the end of the week. I'm supposed to have a 5-mile run on Friday, and then for my long run, I'm going to be doing 8 miles. What I'm choosing to do for my taper week is I'm pretty much not going to be running at all until Friday. Take that time to really just pay attention to my foot. If I feel like I have to stop, I'm going to stop immediately. I'm just going to take it easy. You know, this 5 miles is going to be a way for me to kind of feel things out. I'm not going to sweat if I even don't get a chance to run the 8 miles. My foot is starting to feel better. I got up this morning and was able to put weight completely on my foot and didn't have any pain. That's the first time that's happened since my 10-mile run. And it's now Tuesday. It is getting better. I have been doing stretches. I learned all those stretches from when I fractured my foot. I can walk barefoot. I'm not experiencing any pain. Even though I'm not currently feeling any pain right now, I'm also not taking that as okay, I've had one day of no pain. Let's get back into running right away. I'm going to give my foot a couple extra days. And then that'll also give my shoes time to re-inflate, right? I haven't had them that long. So I just started running again in January. There's no way that I've ran through my shoes already. You know, I haven't even reached a half marathon distance yet. But this also wanted me to talk a little bit about breaks. People see a break in training as something so bad, but honestly, it's not. You can take a break. You could take 1 or 2 days to rest and then get right back onto your training schedule, or you can train and train and train and hurt yourself, and then you have to take 3 months off. Realistically, it's your choice. Take 1 or 2 days off, end up having to take 3 months off. I had to take the 3 months off and it was a killer. And then when the marathon race happened this year, I got a little depressed because I wanted to be there. You know, we had it all planned out and it just didn't happen that way. And you'll hear people all the time that are professional runners, they'll do a marathon race or an ultra marathon race, and then they talk about how they took 1 or 2 weeks off after the race to recuperate. You know what? I plan to do the same thing too. I might take like a week off after my half marathon race just to give my body a little bit of recovery time, do a little bit of a reset before I start my marathon training. Make sure that you take your breaks and learn your body really well. Schedule your training how you need them done. You can get any training schedule you want and tailor it to yourself. So I just got a running schedule off the internet. I made sure that it had taper weeks because those are important. I have talked about tapers in quite a few of my videos, but basically, if you're new to my channel and this is the first video you're watching of mine, welcome. First off, welcome. I hope you stick around. Taper weeks are important. So basically, as you're training, each week, your intensity is increasing. The amount of your runs, your long runs, the things you're doing each week, your strength training, they're increasing and increasing. And usually about every 2 to 3 weeks, you have a taper, which means you go below what you were doing before. So for example, I had a 7-mile run followed by a taper week that was a 5-mile run. The next week I did a 9-mile run. Then the week after that I did a 10-mile run, and now I'm back down into a taper, so my long run will only be 8 miles. And then next week my long run is supposed to be 11 miles. Just make sure that when you're doing a training plan that you have taper. They're really great for your body. They need that rest. Like I said, when it comes to your scheduling, change things if you need to change things. I have learned for me, okay, this isn't for everybody. I have had to learn to schedule my recovery, my rest day, as for the day after my long run. So whenever my long run is, I do a recovery next. I go for a small walk with my dog or the kids or something like that. The recovery is, you know, when you're doing some kind of activity after your long run. Schedule your rest days, recoveries, however it is that you want to do it, when you need to do it. Some people like to have it right, so they like to rest the day before their long runs. I don't mind running before because it gets my muscles loose and ready to go. And the last thing I want to talk about is if you are taking a rest day due to like an injury or something, or some pain that you're dealing with that you kind of want to give a chance to rest, something that I would suggest doing, this is what I've been doing, is even though you're not running, I would still do some leg strength training. It doesn't have to be long, you know, 15, 20-minute workout, you know, even if it's just doing some squats, some side lunges, something that's not really going to hurt your foot too much, but it's still going to keep your legs activated. You don't want them to weaken too much, especially if you're in the middle of your heightened training, getting ready to do a race. I think it's just, you know, even though you can't actually run, you can still be doing things for your legs that are helping keeping them strong. Even though I didn't run, I still did all my other strength training as scheduled. I did my core workout. I wasn't supposed to do any strength training today, but seeing as how I'm not running, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do a 30-minute leg day. And the great thing about that is if I'm doing something that's bothering my foot, I can just move from that and go to the next one. I hope this helped you guys out a little bit. I hope you guys don't fear taking breaks as much as you did before watching this video, if you are one of those people like I used to be, because again, they're not frightening. Breaks are perfectly okay to have, sometimes necessary, and the hard part can be determining what would be considered a necessity break or not, because again, feeling some pain when you're running is normal. There's a wealth of information out there, and if you are super concerned, then you could always just go talk to your doctor. I've been running for a year now, so I know what normal pain is supposed to feel like versus what it is that I'm feeling. I shouldn't be feeling the sharp stabbing pain, so I know that that's something that I need to look out for. You know, let me know down in the comments below if there's any other topics or anything, or if you guys have any questions that you might possibly have for me and I could possibly do that in another upcoming sit down video. That would be absolutely great, because again, I like these sit down videos where I just get to sit here and chat with you guys. I will see you guys in my next video. And if you guys are running, you guys are doing an amazing job. Keep it up. You guys are fierce. You're strong. Remember that. Again, if you're thinking about getting into running, do it. It's totally worth every second of it. Bye.